Okay, now I'm good.
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity.
Howdy, toddy.
Hate it.
My
God
sweat
almighty.
equity.
Sweat Equity Podcast. This has a hard intro out, right?
No,
What about my sweat equity?
it's only 20 seconds, so not a lot of time for you to bullshit.
I'm a longer lover than that.
Not me.
Yeah?
In and out.
In and out, 3 pumps.
Ladies don't like you to take forever. You got like a 15-minute stop, clock, and then it's like just okay.
Whoa,
I'm
15
over.
minutes. Hey, guy. What are we talking
Real.
about?
That's just
You just went both polar opposites.
That's without any foreplay. That's the just taking it.
Just thinking about baseball the whole time?
What? Oh,
To get there?
to make it that long?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
That's got to be like a record.
Yeah.
Like world record or something, you know?
Nobody wants that record either way, longest or shortest.
I was saying 3 minutes. I mean, max.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm a stud. What can I say?
Yeah. The stud, I want to look at stats on my watch before and after because I haven't tested that for
I've worn it.
reasons you can do deductive logic, but
I wore my new one that has the heart rate monitor just to see if I was in AFib when I was done. Because it's like,
what's AFib?
that's like an irregular heartbeat where they...
Above 120 or something?
No, it's like an irregular...
Damn, you sound grizzled. What's wrong?
I've been hustling. It's like when you're in AFib, I think it's a irregular heartbeat that just indicates some sort of badness. Like you're going to have a heart attack.
Like if you're above 150, probably?
Well, it's not checking your heart rate. It's like the pattern of it. So it's like... boom, boom, boom,
right.
boom, boom,
Right.
boom, 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 boom.
That would be stroke would be like huge valleys.
Yes.
Yeah.
You knew one word of it.
Well,
Threw it out there.
well, it'd be like it'd be volatile. It would look crazy.
I forgot I was doing the directing today.
Yeah, and
So we'll try and keep that going as best I can.
I look like an extra at a snatch with my Adidas
Yeah.
warm up gear.
We look like a Wes Anderson movie.
A little bit, yeah. I can dig that. I need my big Sam Rothstein glasses from Casino.
I just watched Isle of Dogs,
What's that?
the Wes Anderson animated dog movie. It's
I-
good.
Is it Netflix?
It's on HBO.
I was gonna say I heard Netflix is doubling down on just dogs, just like no like all transparency. Just like we're gonna put a bunch of just dog crap, like not dog crap, but dog, just not that
New
good
from
at-
Netflix. Dog crap. Just look
You
at
know how
it.
they flooded Netflix probably 4 years ago flooded their own stuff because people were starting to pick off like all the other companies, the production houses started going, hey. NBC's like, wait a minute, we got Parks and Rec, we can put it over here on our own thing called CISO that no one will do.
Yeah.
But like they had to flood their own system with just whatever they could get. South
Mhm.
Park did an episode on it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're doing that again, but just in niche parts.
Yeah, they're going the podcast route. Go super specific.
Yeah. Well, dogs, they just literally have something that's like a documentary about cute dogs. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, we are in idiocracy. So I think that's interesting. But you had, I want to hear about your watch.
Oh, well, I got...
Other than
I-
AFib.
Well, no, I got the new Apple Watch.
Which one?
And the 4 Nike Plus, which does the heart rate monitoring. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be
Mine
called.
does that. Is the 3.
Not the heart rate. It's like an EKG on your watch.
Oh.
But it doesn't. It's not. It's like it just tells you you're not having a heart attack.
I kind of like that as a hypochondriac.
That's why I want to. I was like, I think I'm dying.
Oh, you have that too?
Kinda.
I thought you were way more chill than that.
No, well, I mean, now I feel okay because it was just being a hypochondriac. But
I have the thing. If you said you were gonna have a heart attack, I'd have a heart attack.
yes,
That gets in my head.
I know we should
Even
be
though
better about that.
It's not contagious,
Yeah.
but anything that's contagious, I'm like, I think I got that.
Yeah, but
That's probably narcissism.
fucking I got in the shower and put it on the
Now we're
ledge.
talking.
And then my wife comes in
All right.
and I got in the shower, closed the door.
Baby number 3 on the way.
Watch was definitely still just sitting there. And I get out and it's on the floor and Nikki had come in to use the potty because that's how we roll
That's
in
your
my
wife.
house.
For those that don't know.
Pretty sure it was a number one. I don't remember.
Yeah, you're one of those couples.
Yeah.
Which is most couples. I could never do that.
Yeah, and I got out and it's on the ground, and I was just like, man, I'm fucking so stupid. I knocked that shit off, and then down the line, she's like, what's the big deal? You know, I'll get you a new one.
I wonder if the watch could tell you what happened.
Ooh.
Like Alexa figuring out murders.
Yeah, I don't think it will, but
But you know, like you've heard those stories, right? Like,
yeah, they like
because it's always recording unless we need to do that on this podcast. I'm not sure what the command is, but you can tell it to stop. Hey Siri.
that's not gonna work.
Hey Siri.
This shit never works.
I know. But that's how I have to address Siri. Hey Siri.
Yeah,
But I think
because that's how you calibrated it.
uh,
Regret it.
because I didn't want anybody else that had a mumbly, raspy tone to be able to do it. So
This directing's harder than it looks.
you're
Like,
fine.
it's
You're fine. You're
stupid.
doing great.
Mm.
Don't worry about it. You're not even doing a one shot on yourself.
I know. I don't want to see my shiny head.
But so you found it on the ground.
So yeah,
now you
it's
gotta figure out
it's a whodunit, and the only suspect is my wife, who's very enthusiastic about just getting it. Just we'll take care of it.
I'm sure the good doctor will be proud to hear this opening of the podcast.
Yeah, when she listens, sure. I'm really scared.
Okay.
Don't send it to her.
I'm not
fuckface.
gonna. I would never send that to her.
Yeah, don't.
No way. No. I got to get my teeth cleaned. I'm worried about that. All right.
Well, she
she's
doesn't
gonna-
clean teeth.
No, she's gonna haze me, which I need. I deserve, like a personal trainer. I deserve it.
She's gonna do that no matter what.
I know. That's kind of the beauty of doing dentistry. I was thinking about that. Is like it's kind of like carpentry or kind of what we do with digital. Is like you can always find something that's wrong in a way. You can
Sure.
accountants can always audit and find something that you're doing incorrect.
Yeah, I guess.
Lawyers, there's finite ones. There's finite jobs like pouring concrete.
Yeah.
You know,
What
there's
about
a
another
space.
parking lot over here?
Right.
Huh?
There's a space. You pour concrete. There's not a lot of room to kind of
Yes.
wiggle room in variables, but I feel like
Well, at Forest Hills Dental, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship and honest service.
craftsmanship,
Sure, it's a craft.
craft industry.
Yeah. Why not artisan
Ooh,
dentistry?
apple smoked bacon.
We throw a beard on her. We could do a whole.
Ooh.
That could be a fun little
That's in
advertising.
Portlandia.
Yeah, advertising campaign, just completely out there.
The hipster. We don't care about insurance. You don't.
Yeah.
You really don't.
We do. No, we doesn't. Insurance doesn't matter at our place. I mean, we file everybody's insurance for them if they so choose. But like, you can have any insurance, no insurance, don't matter.
Well, how about this? We didn't. We had a couple of topics coming into this. We can talk about doing a creative for your own your own digital commercial, because anybody can kind of shoot one now.
Yeah.
And I think you gotta. We can kind of go over that, because I think that's a good kind of how to, but also I feel like a lot of people stop doing it because they're not sure the template. They have an idea, but they're not sure how to execute.
Right. Well, with this stuff, it's like when in doubt, just copy somebody else. I mean, the bottom line is that everything is a copycat industry. Like they'll say, "Oh, football's NFL's a copycat league." It's
course.
like, dude, everybody's doing that. Like, you want to see what's good? What does good look like?
The only
Do
thing
that.
the only thing that's self-policing in that respect to be original is comedy, if you want to be in that world. Like we want to be in that
Exactly.
world still, and it's like if you're stealing bits. I mean, I was watching the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Hmm.
and
Good show. Check it out.
it's good.
Amazon Prime.
It's really good. The main gal who's in it, you see her boobies in the
First episode.
real nice,
Yeah.
real impressive. But I'm saying
You're not.
now I'm stuck.
Now you're on tits. Okay.
All right.
Marvelous
so what
Mrs.
we're talking about,
stealing
luscious,
bits.
juicy
You're talking about tits.
bean
What are we
bags.
talking about?
Give me a minute and reset.
Stealing
Okay.
bits.
I got to take the Nintendo cartridge out and then put it back in.
Yeah.
So stealing bits in the 50s, like everybody kind of stole from each other. They make it sound like it's commonplace. I don't like the illusion that people still think like you don't write your own material.
Yeah, that's not the case. But they definitely did that back in the day where they
Sure,
would like, even
sure.
Rogan talks about how like him and Who was it?
Fitzsimmons. They would share
Fitzsimmons. Yeah,
bits.
they would share material.
But they also caveated they didn't know any better. And so like once we kind of got into this transparent era a bit, where the internet kind of makes everything a little bit more.
It's an equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that. Then I think of social media and how fake everybody is on there. But
if you really wanted to dig down on those people, you could probably expose them pretty easily, sort of thing.
Right. I mean, you have your Mencias as a kind of exception to the rule. But the way I always looked at stealing bits is like you're basically looked at like a child molester in the comedy community.
Yeah.
And in any art, you can't just go. If you're like literally doing paintings, you can't, and you do that in your spare time. You can't just go, I'm gonna do this Georgia O'Keeffe, duplicate it, and then call it mine.
Yeah, and even if you do, it's not going to be exactly the same.
That'll be in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah, it's just like
in Thonotassa, Florida. Or
congratulations, you did it worse, and you copied it.
Yeah, you got motel hotel art.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty much. So I always look at that, like in business, it's the opposite. It's always like, look at the competitor, or steal ideas from everybody else and do it better, do it quicker, do it more efficient, whatever that is, more productive, all those kind of things. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy, but for those listening that don't care about the comedy world, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Of course, the comedy heartstrings, we don't like that. And I'm going to stick to comedy for this digital commercial because it gets the most shares.
Yeah. Nobody's passing along a dramatic commercial.
You're not going to be good enough to execute that on no budget, right?
Yeah.
Those big brand awareness ones where Honda has a heart, or like like Gillette.
They've got Liev Schreiber talking over it.
Gillette cares about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? What is this? If you did that as a local business, you'd be a total joke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like you would try to look. It would look off because everybody knows you're a local business.
I just think of the lawyer commercials, extreme, like Culpepper Curland, a local law firm that took themselves way too seriously.
Hey, family friend, I'm not going to say anything. So.
Well, if I ever see them, I will tell them that they take themselves too seriously in their commercials. And I at a time wanted to pitch them like, you guys need to go extreme with it. Make yourselves look like complete badasses. So no shirts, pop them off. Like
that's a good segue. That's a good segue into the pre-production of it, right? Because it doesn't matter to them. They don't need it. It's like the producers. Law firms now, if they take a risk, they might get a lot more out of it, but they don't need to take that risk.
Right.
It's for them. It's mitigated risk. They don't care. It's about frequency.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't ever. Why would they do that? But I just want to see it happen.
So the producers, if you remember that play or the movie, is they put on a Springtime for Hitler. It doesn't matter how bad it is. It's so bad. It's like being the Buffalo Bills or the Tampa Bay Bucks. They still get paid no matter what. No, it doesn't matter the quality on stage. They're still going to make money.
Right.
So that's the idea of the producers. That's how I see the lower level football teams with revenue share. But for law firms in this area, which is I think the top, like per capita, the most marketed for lawyers, attorneys. In a metropolis area.
In America?
Yeah. Oh. Well, think about it.
I mean, we do. I just figured it was like that everywhere.
So I heard that stat a while ago. I got to look that up. But I would say it's that thing of they just care about frequency. And you can see the big dogs do that. The guys that spend the most, they don't really care about it. They stay in the pocket. They're not going to take any risks. So think about your business. And if you need to make a splash, then you should maybe do a riskier one. But while you're shooting, maybe do a safe one and a risky one at the same time. And that's what we call an A/B split.
Yeah.
You want to test your commercial against itself, right? So you do, let's say you're a Cuban sandwich place.
Do it with all your advertising.
Yeah, but now you can do production to where you don't have to cut film anymore. It's not like people still think they have this production part where it has to be elaborate. You can shoot a lot of stuff with 4 guys.
Yeah.
That looks just as like this show. A lot of people are like, how many people are helping you with this show? And it's like,
I'm being director right now. Look at me.
Literally, you're doing the producing. You've set up the studio. Like,
I'm really tired though.
Sure, but I'm saying like we're gonna figure out how to auto have that. We can get in John Paul remote. That's the next step.
Yeah, and we would if it wasn't so early in the morning.
And the point is like the what that means is the cost isn't as high, right?
Yeah.
So
The barrier to entry.
right, you got to be able to project manage people that can do it. That's the hard part because
Sure.
everybody's a feral cat in this gig economy. But I would say in the pre-production, you want to go, all right, are we going to be showing this a lot, or do we have like one shot at it? Is it a promotion? What's the objective? You should
Yeah.
always start there.
hmm
And then, do you have a brand? What's your brand? What are you about? What's the style? What's the tone? Are we going Portlandia, a hipster idea
Right.
for a dentistry? I think that's funny,
Yeah.
right? That would be a funny way to get your local business out
Sure.
because at the same time you're shooting that one, we're going to take off all the costumes and just shoot a very general
Yeah. Vanilla.
vanilla and use that as a frequency.
Yeah. What? Just quick tangent. Did you happen to see the Morgan and Morgan, the biggest law firm in the world? For Christmas they had John Morgan dressed up with a Photoshop Santa thing.
Yeah.
And then they had I don't know if you're watching at home, they had a golden sleigh coming out of the side of his head,
Uh-huh.
and it looked like somebody took a gun and shot John Morgan in the head, and his brains were gold.
That
And I
might
was
be a
like-
Rorschach test for yourself.
I was like,
but
nobody else sees this, but
I definitely
Caught my
saw
eye.
the commercial and not thought about that ever. But
it was a billboard,
or a billboard.
and it was a billboard where you wouldn't see it.
I remember the one he's
Oh,
dressed up
yeah.
as Santa, but yeah, but they don't
Somebody
care.
out there knows what I'm talking
They're so big they created their own ad agency. Like
Yeah.
that's separate technically, I think, from Morgan Morgan. But
Well, there was a while where I was trying to record the radio commercials because at the end he goes, "Pound law, that's all."
yeah, they don't care. It doesn't
I just
matter.
wanted that.
You
Somebody
you
says
say
pound
it
law.
you say it enough, and especially the radio crowd listening to it,
Yeah.
right? That's the laggard kind of audience.
We call them the programmables.
Okay, I like that. I like that better than laggard community.
I don't know what that means.
There's
Laggard.
there's like marketing class 101 in college. They talk about like your first mover audience, your first adopter audience, then your
Mhm.
laggard audience, which is like the glut. That's the big part of the bell curve. Those are the people that listen to radio, watch network TV,
Mhm.
watch local
Watch
news.
dog shows on Netflix,
Pretty much, that's what they're going for.
and
That's,
they're also the ones with the money. We love
Um,
you most of
yeah,
the time.
most of the time, yeah.
because they're older.
But just like comedy, where you go, okay, we know Portlandia is one of the best things out there. We know that for a good comedy acumen. But I know most of the country hasn't even heard of it.
Oh yeah, and it's the sort of thing where we would love to do that sort of commercial, but it's not exactly playing to the target audience that we want to have come into the office, sort of thing.
Right. It would be more of a sketch.
It would be it would be shareable amongst people our age and younger, I hope, but whether it would bring in business in terms of actual dollars, it's like maybe it raises the brand awareness.
But we could think of something that's funny in the dental kind of community. We could play against.
They got tons of stuff.
Well, we have the setting, so you have to audit your resources too. That's something I forget to tell people in the whole process. So
That should be step one, actually.
well, before I get into, let's break everything down into a third, because how much time are we at right now?
18 and a half.
Okay, so break any project you're trying to do, any idea you're trying to do. Someone told me break it into thirds, and that's going to help tremendously. Then you can break those into thirds if you want, make it 9 steps. But you go pre-production, production, post-production. Pretty simple, right? No, nothing crazy there. So you've got idea in the pre-production. You've got the audit of your resources, meaning do you have cash, or we already have the setting if we
Yeah.
want to do a dental one.
How good can you make it look with what you've got?
What
Like,
cameras stuff do we have? How many favors can I call in? Maybe.
you want to get as much production value, make it look as much like a movie as you can for what you have, and then look into cheaper helpers that'll bustle. What's the word I'm looking for?
Bustle?
Make it look better. I'm retarded right now.
Enhance.
I'm sorry!
This is why we shouldn't do the podcast in the
In
morning.
a rush? No, it's fine.
But well, you've been up since 4. I stayed up late working, and I
Yeah.
got up at 8. Idea, audit, or objectives should be somewhere in those top 3, right?
Robust.
Jesus,
Good God,
that was
man.
a dad move.
I did that yesterday.
That's the word. Objective, idea, audit. So if I didn't know anything, I would call you. I'd call our video partner, 28 Monkeys, a friend of the program, Damien Alpazar. I'd call y'all up and I go, what do I need to shoot this idea?
Yeah.
And you go, hey, maybe a H4n mic, or audio recorder, maybe a $10 slate, maybe one of the Mevo cameras, you can borrow that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you figure out, you go over, okay, what's that list I need of things I don't know about? I'm going to go research that. Then what's the budget I have, right? So budget after that.
And that's a lot of what we do too. We've done this in the past where we've set people up with studios in their office right there, so they can film their blog posts, do whatever to have that content ready to go out.
Yeah. We got to find a catchy name for that to package it. But with direct to camera videos that are easy to shoot, it's just your opinion. You probably already wrote something.
Yeah, something that's just click a couple buttons and you're good to go, and then take away that headache of the setup and all that, because that's where all the time goes. You know,
that content I always say is like writing a bachelorette or bachelor speech, whatever, maid of honor.
Yeah, short and
toast.
sweet.
Right, stay in your pocket with that.
Yeah,
don't go
time.
extreme. Let the creatives around you help you. I've done so many like punch up on people's like best man toast and stuff.
Yeah. Well, John Paul and I have filmed like 100 weddings, and it's just like every time. Why people think that long makes it good, I don't know. But like
rambling,
it's just like I've seen people print out 3 pages
and read it,
and then go through, and I just audible groan. I go, "Oh God, are you stupid? We're waiting to eat, buddy."
Yeah, why are you punishing us?
Nobody wants to hear this. We want to get drunk and dance.
So that's a little bit of self-awareness. That's kind of, I would put that, if I'm going to weave it back into this, is more of your, as far as the creative and the content that you're planning out and the pre-production part, be self-aware of your audience.
Big time.
If we're trying to get y'all's audience for the Forest Hills Dental, we're going broader and we want kind of older, really.
Yeah.
So we might do something that's, we'll do a risky creative over towards older people that might get shared.
Yeah. We want to do like Toy Story funny sort of thing that's like
clever.
That's funny for any age. Like there's cartoons.
It could be done. Yeah. Pixar's the best at it.
I mean, having kids, like it really opens you up comedy wise, because you could see you don't have to be talking about farting or sex or dicks all the time. Like there's stuff out there.
You don't have to be crass like us.
Yeah, I mean, we do it for fun.
Yeah,
it's for fun. But it reminds you, like,
well, this is the place for it.
Yeah,
that's not the place for it.
Exactly. This is our outlet.
So you have creative.
Did you come in it?
Mm-hmm.
You have the content, which is kind of like creative. To me, is more of the style and tone. The content's more of like, what do we need to get it to say? What's the call to action? How long is it? That kind of thing.
Right.
30 seconds, under 29 seconds. 29 or under is great for digital commercials for Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest even.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get them all cut. The same commercial, you can get them all cut in that vertical if you want the 9:16 ratio or 16:9, which is your normal one, or square.
Yeah. And if you're not like video editing savvy, you can do stuff like Shaker, or I haven't found any others, but
there Animoto. There's a bunch of, if you go to alternative2.net, you can look up any of the competitors for any of these apps that we put out there. But Shaker without the E, it's a Korean company.
Mm-hmm. They actually that alternative has a Chrome plugin.
Yeah,
that'll pop up every time.
They want to track you. That's all they want to do.
That's fine. I'm being tracked by many entities.
So creative content, and then like you can worry about the scheduling, but you might want to have an idea when this is going to be scheduled, because we did campaigns. We have this pirate festival in Tampa that's like our Mardi Gras called Gasparilla. We shot something for a moving company here. We had to shoot it in 2 weeks because it was butting up right against this. We call it Pirate Month here.
Yeah. I've never heard that, and I've lived here for 35 years.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, for lack of a better term, because people don't know what Gasparilla is. It's all pirate stuff for about a month. So we had to get it done by this time 2 years ago. So the parade's on Saturday, so we could start pushing it out there.
Yeah.
So you got to look at the schedule ahead of time. You don't have to get crazy about it.
Well, on the other side of that is, do you have time to shoot multiple commercials in that setting when you have everything set up, when you have your production team there? Plan to try and do more than just one for sure. You want to have
So here's my advice for that: is have the main one that you need to get done, right?
right.
And shoot it in whatever story, whatever order you need according to your resources. Meaning, movies shoot in different orders because they have to work around actor schedules and they have to work around settings.
Hmm.
So those are the big constraints they have to first get. What can they shoot and when?
Right.
And what's the best time to do that? For you, the person listening that is trying to put this all together, you've got a day to shoot. Call it a Sunday. You've got 8 hours. You're paying a couple friends to do it. A couple $100 to these guys that are hungry. You find some guys that are like y'all, videographers that
they're out there
that are still hungry and want to shoot something.
Yeah.
Want their name on it.
Just hustling, just trying to make money. I mean,
you say four people for $200 for the day rate or something like that. That seems about fair.
Yeah, but that's even. I mean,
that's low. But I'm saying like
at most, realistically, for a small business, you probably don't need to hire any more than 2 people, individuals in the room, sort of thing.
I'm saying with the post too.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, most guys do it all. Is I guess the point, but yeah, that's
and ask a lot of questions to them. Why is there fat on this edit? Why is there stuff like that?
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
play that you don't have experience. That's helpful. Like if you don't know anything about this world, just ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, something that we do is we plan to do everything so that it's just you and I, if we have to. Like I've got it set up that if JP sleeps in, we can still podcast and do it. Okay.
So put your manager hat on. We call it contingency planning, and that might be the formal name, but I always think of everything as like, okay, if one of these kids doesn't show up, what are we going to do?
Exactly.
Assume
that it'll be just you. Yeah.
I can hold a boom mic or whatever. Like that's fine. As the owner paying them, you're gonna have to get in there. Like, you're gonna have to be involved, but let them do as much as they can do.
Mm-hmm. And absorb the knowledge. Pay attention,
and then look at the day. Like we got 8 hours. I think we can get one of these shot at least in 4 hours, but at worst 6.
Yeah.
And then let's see if we can use the other 4 or 2 hours to kind of get a second one in.
Yeah.
Maybe a third one if we can run through it really quick. So if you're paying for that day, just like any outside help, try to maximize that the most you can.
Well, I'm thinking of it.
That's the most expensive part.
When it comes to like day of production stuff, you need to have somebody. You don't have to call them a director, but you need to have somebody making a final decision on creative, whatever comes up. Somebody needs to be able to sit there and say, no, let's do it this way. Because if you sit there and have debates, those 8 hours turn into 3 hours so quickly, especially with creative arguments.
And that's why you got to become nutty about the pre-production, because it'll make your production costs way less.
Right. The pre-production, you can get all that stuff out of the way. You could say it's going to go like this. Boom, boom, boom. That's how it's going to be laid out. No arguments. Leave time in case somebody comes up with an idea while they're there.
Shot list.
Right. Shot list is huge.
I mean, if they don't provide a shot list, you have it for photography. Same thing. You want to kind of sketch out like, all right, I want to get a solo shot of him looking like this. I want to get a 2-shot, meaning 2 people in one frame, doing dialogue, over the shoulder.
This is a 2-shot right now.
If you're watching.
1 shot?
Yeah.
1 shot. 2 shot. Sorry for people listening only.
You look tiny in your 1 shot.
I don't know.
No, it's just
hiding.
You're not zoomed in enough.
Yeah, whatever.
But use horse sense. Like I could just see that. Like I filled up the whole shot when he was just doing it, switching now, and then when it switched to your 1 shot, you have a lot of space around you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, make everything matchy.
So
which I did not.
Well, unless you're trying to make it seem like you're smaller.
I'm so tiny.
Like Guillermo del Toro.
Is he tiny?
No, he does. He doesn't do a lot of CGI. He tries to do as much without it.
Oh,
except for Pacific Rim. But like Pan's Labyrinth, if you look at how that's made, it's all angles. Like it's all made with like crazy angles to make the perception of everything from the point of view of the girl.
You can do crazy stuff with cameras.
So post production, right? So what you want to do when you get you get this ragtag team you found, call it kids at a college or something that are doing it on the side, you want to give them deadlines. I want a round of edits done by blank.
Yeah.
I want all the raw files.
Share them.
I want them in a Dropbox folder, and I want it 3 days from now. It should be 24 hours, but
going back to production real quick, something to remember: always test what you're doing before you go on and start filming for 4 hours.
Yep.
Do a short test. We do it every time we podcast. We test it, make sure everything's good to go. Now this will be the time when we didn't test it and nothing's being recorded. But no, it saves so much time because you can go back. We've done it where it's like you go back and they're like, there is a huge buzz in this audio, and there is no way that we can reproduce it. It's just
and coverage. If you can get 2 different sources to do video and 2 different sources to do audio, you got to do before you start.
Yeah.
Make sure you check everything's charged.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
I mean, how many times have you done that? Where it's like, really?
That's not a problem anymore. That's like at the top of my list. Charge everything, but
you learned all this out of frustration,
right?
You fucked up. Same with me.
Yeah.
Like the reason I'm becoming a planner now is out of dad frustration.
Yeah, exactly. But I forgot what I was gonna say, but let me get that in there.
That's the
give you a heads up.
morning.
Yeah, it's a lot of failed attempts that you got to just make sure. The second camera, that is huge for people who aren't used to talking on camera.
Yep.
Because you and I can sit down and have a monologue and get through it and not flub our words, but most people aren't going to be used to orating and getting it out and doing good takes. Acting is not as easy as it seems. So having that second camera, when you're in the post-production time, you can cut away. If somebody stops and they mess up a word, but the part before that was good, you can go to that second shot where they did it again and they did it well, and you can cut it together and make it look nice.
Yep. We'll do post-production the next episode because each of these can be really broken up into a third, and the pre-production, production, and post, these could all be their own episodes that literally we could talk about this for 3 hours each.
Yeah, well, for those people making their own, the post-production is going to be, that's a big learn. Well,
I think
it's going to be something that if you've hired somebody, they're going to want to, they're going to take that.
I'm thinking publishing and not actual post, but you're right.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit, and if you need to have somebody, if you don't have any video editing skills, you need to have somebody to help you.
Especially comedy. Comedy is the toughest.
Oh,
this is why Eric's really good at doing editing, because comedy is the hardest because you have to time it just right.
Exactly.
You can't leave any fat on that. And that's a huge mistake you see from amateurs. You ever have a friend show you something, a funny video, and you're like,
it's only 7 minutes.
There's something wrong with this.
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be a minute, but there could be a half second on every cut. And
any sort of lingering,
you
lose attention.
Comedy's about timing. So I hope this helps. I think we'll do better next time.
Pretty good rundown, given 33 minutes, how to make a commercial.
Yeah.
What about my sweat equity?
Check us out, sweatequitypod.com.
YouTube, LinkedIn, Vimeo, Facebook, Your Mom's Walkman, iTunes, give that 5-star, rate, review, subscribe.
Write about it.
Ask us a question, we will answer it on air in that iTunes review.